Hello, everyone. Welcome to our video series. This is a Zoom meeting about diversity and student groups at KU Law. I am Brianna. I went to KU and I graduated in 2015. And we have some student ambassadors here. If each of you could go ahead and introduce yourselves. Who wants to go first? Lou, how about you go first?
Sure. Hi, I'm Louis Walton. I am the president of the Black Law Students Association. I am a 3L, and which means I'll be graduating in May.
Omar, we can't hear you. You're on mute.
Hi, how's that? My name is Omar Sen. I'm a 3L. I'll also be graduating in May. I'm from Kansas City, Lenexa.
My name's Delaney Heegert. I'm a 2L, so I will be here for another year. I'm the president of Outlaws and Allies and the vice president of the Dean's Diversity Leadership Council. I'm from Topeka, and I don't know where I'll be going when I graduate.
My name's Ryan Gordon. I'm also a 2L, and I'm the treasurer of Outlaws and Allies. And I obviously am not 100% sure where I'm going after I graduate, but I'll be around next year. And I'm from Northeast Missouri.
Could each of you, I know that two of you are with Outlaws and Allies, could you describe, and I don't know who wants to go first, your organizations that you're involved in, what your organizations do? Are they open to everyone? Is it secluded? I think we all know the answer is no. And what events you put on within your organization? If you want to go in the same order, you can.
Yeah, you want to go in the same order?
Yeah.
Sure. For the Black Law Students Association, we are a group that is put together to assist with Black students that are transitioning into the law profession, but we are open to everyone. We have members of all races and colors and however you would want to describe people. We try to be a socially oriented group, so we do things like the Black Law Students Association for many years has done a food drive every year. It's kind of one of those things where the entire school gets together and gets food together and donates to the local pantries. We also do a lot of things that are specific to our students. I mean, all students are invited, but for instance, we have like a soul food luncheon where trying to bring in some of the culture from back home, where we will cook soul food and invite not only our members, but other folks from the school to just come and get to enjoy those kinds of things. We have tons of speakers that come in. In fact, most recently, we had the granddaughter of the first African-American graduate of KU back in 1893 that came in and talked to the students. And for us, it's all about essentially giving back and paving the way forward for more students like us. So we would happily ask you to come in and participate, or even just visit with the Black Law Students Association during any one of our events.
Okay. So I'm the president of Asian Law Student Association, and I'm also in a few other groups, but that's the only diversity group that I'm in. There's the Student Intellectual Property Law Association and Environmental Law. So if you have any questions about that, I can answer that as well. But Asian Law Student Association, we're a smaller group. I think last year we had like 4 or 5 people, but this year we recruited a lot more people, got a lot more help into it. But we did, the big event we did this year was we had a speaker. His name is Khalid Beydoun. He's a law professor from Arkansas. He wrote a book called American Islamophobia. It was awesome. We had like 70, 80 people turn out to the big lecture that he had. And it was really cool. And it was just opening eyes and getting awareness on an issue that doesn't get a lot of airtime. And I guess that's the point of all the diversity groups, just to show representation and how we as lawyers affect that.
So I'll talk kind of about like the goal of Outlaws. But I'll leave the events for Ryan, so you have some stuff to talk about as well. And then I can also talk about the DDLC, Brianna, if you think that's helpful.
Yes.
Okay. So for Outlaws, really similar to like what Lewis was saying with Balsa, we want to make sure that there is a group available to make sure that incoming LGBTQ students kind of have a space for fellowship and camaraderie and just kind of a community outside of the legal profession while they're in law school. And then we also do some community involvement. We hang and try and, give back to the youth, LGBTQ youth in the area. And then we also do speaker events and things like that throughout the year to kind of raise awareness of LGBTQ issues in the law. And then the Dean's Diversity Leadership Council is a separate entity that you can apply to be on your 2L and 3L year. It is a board of 11 students that kind of works to bring in diversity training or speakers or different initiatives in the law school. So we brought in a man named D.A. Graham who works on compassionate communication. We did a 3-part series free to all law students in greater KU campus throughout the year. Every year, the DDLC and basically the faculty counterpart of the DDLC, so I can't remember the official title now, it's changed so many times, sorry Brianna, but it's basically like the faculty diversity board. They host a diversity dash every year in the fall to kind of kick off the semester with all of the groups that we've been talking about now. All the diversity groups are usually there with their boards. They have like a fun scavenger hunt type thing throughout the school. It's a great opportunity for incoming students to meet all the different diversity orgs, to meet the staff and faculty that are involved in diversity initiatives and things like that. And if anyone has, anything that pops up throughout the year, issues surrounding diversity and inclusion, the DDLC, our liaison for the student body to air any concerns they have to admin. So I've really enjoyed my time on the board, and I'm looking forward, hopefully, to do it next year as well.
And just going back to some of the Outlaw events that we've had, we focus a lot on, like Delaney mentioned, fellowship and camaraderie. And so with that, we have, obviously we have some social gatherings that are going to be at people's houses, at restaurants, or out in town doing different things like that, mostly just with our membership. But then we also partner with other organizations. Most notably is KC Legal, which is the Kansas City LGBTQ Bar Association that hosts happy hours about once a quarter. So they do one in Lawrence that's kind of specifically for us, and then they do 3 more in Kansas City, and it's just kind of a cool opportunity to go meet attorneys who are part of the LGBTQ community and really kind of learn what life is going to be like in real practice as well, and just get some social aspect along with the professional aspect there. We'll also do some things with our membership with like a Friendsgiving event. We might do something early on in the semester, usually just as an introductory event as well, at one of our professors' houses. And then we also, like she mentioned, host some speakers throughout the year, movie showings, different things like that, to kind of raise awareness in the law school itself about LGBT movements, equality movement, different things like that. And then, we just kind of also do some bigger events. This year we hosted the Diversity Banquet, which is a diversity scholarship fundraiser, essentially, that is hosted by a different diversity group each year. And so this year it was our year. So we were a little more active this year. We have about 25 people that take part in that and do some of our events as the year goes through.
I was going to hop in real quick. Outlaws has a 1L position. I think Balsa does as well, right? Yeah. So there are on these most diversity orgs, I think. I'm not sure, Omar, about, okay, yeah. So most of the diversity orgs have a 1L rep spot on the board. So that 1L's, your first year, you can kind of get your feet wet. If it's something you're really interested in, you could already be involved in the org outside of just a member role. So that's kind of neat as well.
And
Right.
it's actually really handy in that it's kind of like a baked in family. Like when you get to law school, like the folks that you meet, I can say for sure that like all the folks that are on screen are really, really awesome people. Delaney even serves on BALSAs. She's one of the executive committee members for BALSA. So there's lots of tie-ins between the groups. We all really want to work together to make the law school a happier, safer, funner place overall. So I got nothing but good things to say, especially about the people that you're looking at on your screen.
And to actually add to that, I think everybody has like a common goal. I think I hinted on that earlier. And we definitely work together. So for example, like when we had our group speaker, guest speaker, we don't have that big of a group. So I asked Lewis for help. Delaney helped, came to dinner with us. Like we had like KU Law showed out, and it wasn't just a Asian Law Student Association thing. It was a KU Law thing. Like all the students kind of worked together on it.
Right. And as you all probably know, we are a relatively small school compared to a lot of other law schools in the nation. So around 100 to 110 incoming students each year. It's changed. We're deliberately making it more of like a family with smaller class sizes. So if you think about that, plus the fact that we have over 25 student organizations, there's going to be a lot of overlap when it comes to students are on different boards of organizations, multiple. You can be involved in, truthfully, there is no cap to as many organizations you want to be involved in. I think there's probably an emotional cap and a mental cap and just a time, because they all do so many events. And so many speaking events, so many get-togethers that you can go to all of them if you want. You will probably be going to something, I don't know, 4 times a week. There's something going on all the time. And just to name a few, only because we have 3 organizations clearly represented here today, 4 with DDLC. But some of the other organizations that we have are the Hispanic American Law Students Association, Jewish Legal Society, Native American Law Students Association, and Women in Law, and that's just a couple more. Obviously, with everyone being in quarantine, it's kind of hard for all of us to get on the Zoom call at the same time. So if there's an organization that you're interested in and they are not here today, let me know. We can try to set up another Zoom call, or I can give you their direct contact information as well.
And I was actually asked by Lydia, who's the president of Hispanic American Law Students Association, to make a plug for them. And I will say that they have one of my favorite events of the year, which is Salsa, that unfortunately because of quarantining and all that, we weren't able to do, but everyone goes and salsa dances at a local bar, and it's a great time. So they do a lot of cool stuff too. I think they have a blood drive they were working on. It's a shame that we weren't able to do that, but it's a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah, Salsa is fun. One of the first times I went, Mayor Quentin Lucas, before he was mayor, was tearing up the dance floor with Leah Terranova. So it's a fun
The question
event.
is, does he salsa well?
Do what?
Does he salsa well?
Yes. No, Omar says no. We can ask Mayor Lucas. For
He knows the steps, but you think he has the rhythm? I don't know.
he has the extravagance for it. He's
there it is.
Showman. Yeah, he has that.
Yeah. We can ask him whenever he has a moment to spare and he's not constantly working.
Context, that's a former law professor who's the current mayor of Kansas City. Yeah.
Yes. He is also actually teaching a class this semester. He is doing, it's held 1 time a week. I have no idea how they're handling it now, but it's about municipality law. So he still has an office. So, but back to diversity. Does anyone have any questions? No. Yes, Kat.
I could ask a question. I'm curious what types of outreach, if any, your guys' organizations do to like high school students or undergrad students to try to increase representation in the legal profession.
You want to go? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
Balsa in particular works with admissions. We have a couple of programs that we have done in the past, and again, this semester has been a little difficult, but we have Thurgood Marshall Day that admissions will arrange for usually a group of kids to come into the school, and this is kids from all age ranges. So we'll have like 5-year-olds walking through the school sometimes. And as well as that, there's an event that also started that admissions has essentially taken over for us. We still participate, called KU Rise, where we go and talk to athletes about opportunities in law. So we'll actually get together and put on a mock trial. I think last year they did Little Red Riding Hood versus the three wolves. So just a really good exposure to folks that, possibly before coming to KU didn't have any exposure to what a career in law might look like.
Yeah, and last year, or one of the years, we did Black Panther basically we have the students come and they will be judges or a prosecutor or a defender, and they will pretend and put on a mock legal argument just to kind of get them in the field. We have the robes that they can wear, the gavel, all from traffic court, which will lend them to us. And we have a Rise to the Law night, and it's fun. Unfortunately, this year we weren't able to do that, but next year we hope to do that again.
And then as far as Outlaws outreach, we have an annual tailgate we do with the high school GSA, so the Gay Straight Alliances in the area, which it's fun because it's annual, and so you kind of see like it gets everybody excited every year. But I think we're trying to workshop ways to connect with the high school students a little bit better, because I think LGBTQ population and then like marketing it at a tailgate maybe isn't always the best. It's fun, but we're trying to think of some other more maybe mentor type roles we can have with that community. But we definitely have those inroads. And then as far as the DDLC, the DDLC used to be in charge of running an LSAT scholarship program for diverse undergrads, which now I think, Brianna, correct me if I'm wrong, is embedded under admissions.
Yeah, there are multiple different ones, and there's one through Access Lex as well.
Mm-hmm. So that's something that's kind of one of the overarching missions of the DDLC, is to increase the diversity within Green Hall. So we do things like, scholarship waivers for LSAT application, and then general recruiting events. We try to have a database of all of the undergrad, like Black Student Union and different diversity organizations that exist, and partner with them throughout the year.
So if I was you guys have a much larger like base, but if I was to make a point, that is, you can kind of make it what you want it to be. So if you have ideas, if you have initiatives that you want to see, try and all that, like, do it, get involved, like, talk. There's probably a good chance that, no one else has come up with the same idea, or, other people have, and they're just too scared to bring it up. So like, that's a great opportunity to do it. With our group, like Asian Law Student Association, it's so small, like, it's not like president, treasurer, it's just like, we're all just one group. We're like brainstorming together. And so like, yes, I'm the president, but I don't do anything more than just talk to professors and stuff like that about what my the people in the group with their ideas, stuff like that. So if you really want to get involved, if you're gung ho about it, that's awesome. There's a lot of opportunity for that.
And I will say one more thing is that just being part of these organizations, really, to answer kind of the second part of your question about diversity in the legal community, even outside of Green Hall, is like being part of these organizations really helps. Is I've been going to people through either my connections with KC Legal or finding people that I might know that I can help younger people where I've worked in the past, different things like that. So to help people within our organization. So I know that's really more basic and just, what every organization would do, but it is really cool because of the family aspect of these diverse organizations that really help kind of increase diversity in the legal profession. Because, whenever I worked at the Attorney General last semester, then the next semester I recommended someone from Outlaws to replace me, and different things like that. And so if it just keeps going further and further out, you really do help increase diversity in the legal profession, even though it's really just through your general connections with people that you've made here in Greenhall.
I also just wanted to throw in really quickly that our groups all have faculty mentors or sponsors, and for Balsa in particular, we're really lucky in that we've got a faculty member that really cares, and I think that's universal for all the groups, that the groups are enhanced by the presence of the faculty that are there. So.
Thank you.
Does anyone else have any questions?
If I could add to that, the faculty faculty is great, but I'd say like even older students are an amazing resource for you. So for me, it was particularly the people. So when I joined 1L year, I joined the first group I joined was the intellectual property one. The 3Ls that are in that group have given me more helpful outlines than I've gotten anywhere else. And that's your bread and butter to getting through law school, is just, like getting those tips and tricks, learning how to be a law student and learning from the people who've already done it. You can't make all the mistakes twice. So best learn from other people. And then obviously the professors are there too, but it's a great way to meet older students.
Does someone want to talk about the diversity in law banquet that we host every year?
I can talk about that since I hosting it. I mean, Lewis he still has the title, so I'll make sure I give him a shout out. So this is the banquet that Ryan mentioned, the scholarship banquet that it rotates between diversity orgs each year that host it. Balsa hosted last year. They set a record for fundraising that we didn't beat, so I got to give them their props. But I do want to say that I think that our interior design took home the prize. I don't know. I think we had a lot of it, but we did some really intricate rainbow flower stuff. It was fun. But so it's a great opportunity because kind of like a thread I feel like that has been in this conversation the whole time is talking about kind of the family environment that you kind of feel at KU Law, and the banquet is a really good opportunity for that because it's an annual event that, a lot of alumni that care about diversity and inclusion at Greenhall and in the profession are coming back to every year to donate, tables or tickets or what have you. All the funds go towards the diversity scholarships each year. So that's neat. But it's also just a really cool event for law students at KU to meet really cool alumni and donors and people that care about these issues that, we also care about as law students. And you get to network with all these different people. It's a really fun event. Sometimes some big names come. Representative Sharice Davids came this year, so that was neat. We got to take pictures with her. It's a neat event. You get to, the org that hosts it gets to pick the keynote speaker and plan the evening as far as layout and how everything's going to go. So it's really neat, really big buy-in for the student orgs that are involved. And like I said, it's just a great event. It's one of my favorite events that the law school puts on, networking or otherwise. It's a fun time. You get to wear not just your business professional, you can kind of do some fun clothes and stuff. It's a cool night. So, and it's great because it provides consistent scholarships for diverse students at KU Law. So I think it's really neat. Other schools in the area have started. UMKC and Kansas City just did their first diversity in law banquet this year, kind of modeled off what KU's is because it's been around for so long, but it's a great event. And chime in, anybody else. You guys have all been many a time, I'm sure, or hosted.
I think you hit on all the important parts. It's amazing to see how influential this diversity in law thing really is. It's something that people all over the area are familiar with. Delaney said, we've got people that are donating, different law firms that will donate to sponsor tables. It's really a big deal, and it's something that we should all be proud of as members of KU Law, that we get to partake in something like that.
I was gonna say, as someone who hasn't been a part of setting one up like you guys have, by the way, both of yours events were amazing. It's so easy to get stuck in your own little bubble. We're dealing with this issue, we want this diversity thing. it's awesome to see how everyone's like on the same page. And that's something I realized from like your guys' events was like, man, y'all are not only like fighting the same fight, y'all fighting it better than us. So like we got to step it up a little bit. And so like that's another way we like work together, and it's all about achieving the same goal in the end.
All right. Does anyone have any other questions or things we want to talk about? Did I miss anything major? There's so many different diversity events and groups. If we went down the line for every single one, exactly what they did, we would be on this call for a very long time. But one I would like to highlight as well, Women in Law has an annual pub night. That's really fun. And the proceeds go to domestic violence survivors and funds and things like that. And the name is interesting, but what it really is that professors that are musically inclined will perform popular songs and change all the words to legal things, which sounds kind of terrible, but it's actually very fun. And there's an auction and things like that. And that's typically held at the beginning of April. So it was supposed to be this Friday. And it is not occurring. I know, sad. Omar looks very sad, but it's not occurring this year. But these are the types of events you will have something that you can go to or be a part of planning. At least I would say every quarter, there's a pretty major event that you can be involved in.
The best part about Women in Law pub night is the skits that all the classes do, and I was totally I had a game plan, everything ready for our hours for the 3L skit, but fortunately, I'll come back as a graduate and do it again. Probably not.
I had a bald cap on last year that I drew Sharpie in for Dean Maz's hair. It was
All right. Well, if no one has any other questions, we will actually be back tomorrow. There is a mock class, not all the ambassadors, don't look concerned. There is a mock class with Professor Mulligan, and there should be materials for that up on our website. It is how to sell stolen stuff. So he has been putting on this mock class for quite a while. I hope that some people come to it. It's enjoyable. It's been going on. I think he did this mock class back in 2012. And I really enjoyed it back then. I still remember it. So if you guys can come, that would be great. If you have any questions whatsoever that you forgot to ask, please just ask them on our Facebook. Have a good day, everyone.